I didn't do anything wrong last night.
Rodman is suspended 6 games. A combination of fine and suspension will cost him more than $200,000.
Dennis Rodman was all quiet in his first season with the Bulls. Yes, he continued jostling with the opponents, his antics, ejected twice, picked up over 20 technical fouls, but they were routine Rodman stuff. He'd been mostly peaceful. Then came a Saturday night in March 1996. If you liked the video, consider subscribing and check out the Dennis Rodman Stories playlist of the channel. The Bulls were in New Jersey. Pippen was out. Jordan had to take over the game with 37 points. Kukoc added 18. Chicago was on their 72-win marathon, 57 wins and 7 losses. But this was hardly the headlines of newspapers that came out a day later because Dennis Rodman exploded. Why? Because the referee had a headache. He apparently headbutted referee Ted Bernhardt. Bernhardt confirmed after the game contact was made.
Ejected with 1:31 to go in the first quarter. This is what happened. He's already been thrown out of the game with a second technical foul. There is what really might cost Dennis Rodman and the Chicago Bulls.
Dennis was expected to be suspended for at least the next game at Philly and possibly 3 or 5 games. The Warren picked a bad night to lose control. The NBA's office was near. They're gonna suspend me no matter. Suspend me. Suspend me. Rod Thorne, David Stern, suspend me. You guys are so big, suspend me. I don't care. Make an example out of Dennis Rodman. It's getting ridiculous.
Rod Thorne, David Stern, suspend me, okay? You guys are so big, suspend me.
Rodman saw Rod Thorne in the arena, who was the NBA's operations director. And Thorne didn't like what he saw when Rodman tongue-lashed Bernhardt after the headbutt.
4 rebounds for Rodman. There is Rod Thorne.
And they go right to him. The visiting TV wants to know what happened. Here's the guy that can tell you what's going to happen.
You know, and it looked like Dennis, as he was making a point, his head butted Bernhardt's head. I don't know if he made contact.
Came close, yeah.
He ripped off his jersey, stormed off the floor, knocked the cooler out of the stands, and cursed his way to the locker room. Dennis played just 10 minutes. Grabbed 4 rebounds. His ejection came with 1:31 left in the first quarter, with the score tied at 24. He had picked up a technical foul earlier for slamming the ball down after letting his man get by him for a slam dunk. Dennis was frustrated and he drew a foul.
Defense. Everyone thought he was going to Michael with that pass, and Harper slipped right through the lane. Oh, nice slip pass to Gilliam for the reverse jam.
Dennis really lets it fly as a technical foul. He got so upset because they didn't help him on the play. Gilliam fires it on down on a back door. Rodman with the technical. He just slammed that ball in, was very upset with the defense behind him.
Phil Jackson, a rather stoic look. Take a look at it again, Red. 3 points on that possession, and now the Bulls get it back.
After being called for hitting Rick Mahorn on a rebound, Rodman stood still for a couple seconds and then put both hands down the front of his pants. Bernhardt saw the gesture. I put my hands in my pants and asked him, "What do you want? Me to guard him like this?" Ted Bernhardt called the second technical, signaling an automatic rejection. That set off Rodman, who stormed over to Bernhardt, yelling in his face and then apparently headbutting him.
Goes to work over Luke Longley. Mahorn the rebound, and a foul coming up. I believe it's either Jordan. No, it's going to be on Rodman. They were sandwiching it. Jordan and Rodman picks up his first. That's the first for the Bulls in the last 2 minutes, so a non-shooting affair.
Dennis got a technical foul. He's out of here. Dennis is out of the game.
You recall he had a technical foul early in this first quarter for throwing the basketball on the floor. And now Ted Bernhardt has thrown him out of the game.
Yeah, he adjusting his jersey, and that was Bernhardt just looked over and said, "You're gone, you're out of here." So in the first quarter, 1:31 left to play. Dennis is out of the game with 4 rebounds, 10 minutes he's played, and now he's going to try to plead his case. And
Ted Bernhardt. It looked like he headbutted him.
If he did, I don't know if he just was trying to make his point. They're trying to grab him, and now he throws his jersey back on the court, very upset, will not leave.
Well, Dennis better get moving, or there will be more repercussions.
Water or something went flying.
Dennis Rodman extremely
Well, now the shorthanded
upset.
Bulls are in a little deeper trouble here. Phil shaking his head saying, well.
Phil Jackson, who's a master of controlling emotions, in the meantime smiled. Later in the postgame, he called the headbutt accidental. "I wasn't even looking at him, and he threw me out for no reason. The referees in this league pick on me." He also used Michael Jordan as an excuse. Let me ask you, if Jordan had put his hands in his pants, would he have been thrown out? Case closed. Jordan grabbed 16 rebounds in the game, did all Rodman's work. Charles Barkley can curse out a referee from the time he gets out of bed to when he makes love to his wife. "I'm the guinea pig, I'm the down guy." This was his best line. Rodman had quite the show, like Eddie Murphy in postgame with the press. Rodman ticked the time bomb when the Chicago Bulls were in ultimate championship form, headbutting a referee with profanities to a 20,000 sellout crowd, and he spoke directly to the league authorities. "You got Rod Thorne out there who's 10 feet away from me, and I get kicked out of the game. And I get a phone call not even 5 minutes after the damn game from NBA security." Suspension was coming, so Rodman continued. "Rod Thorne is not man enough to talk to me and tell me what's the difference between me and the rest of the league."
I think Dennis needs to get his act together, although you can't put up with crap like that.
It's getting too obvious what the league and the referees are doing. They're making me a marked man where any little thing that I do is a problem. And tomorrow people look in the black and white, "Oh, he's done it again. He's at it again. What is wrong with that psycho?" But they don't understand though. I'm not crazy. I know exactly what's going on.
It was an incredibly foolish thing for Rodman to do, but everyone knew something like this could happen at any moment. Phil Jackson made a point he let the team down with Pippen being out. The Bulls had no power forwards thanks to the injuries they had. They had to use John Sally, Bill Wennington, and Tony Kukoc for the position. Jordan felt their dream season could be ruined. It's getting to a point where we have to be concerned. These outbursts are something that are not going to continue to happen every night.
Is it a great time for it? Well, I think you can look at it in different fashions. I mean, I'd rather for him to get all that crap out of the system now so that when the playoffs come, we can focus on the game of basketball and, we can count on him being there in every game.
Any suspension without pay would cost Dennis $30,000 per game, not including the fine. He made $2.5 million that year. Rodman was no stranger to suspensions. It was his 8th in less than 4 years. Management had a big stake in gambling on Rodman for his rebounding, and they had to ignore his antics. He was always coming late to the games, but winning covers up stuff like this. Phil Jackson handled these situations very well during his coaching career. He gave leeway to people without losing his authority, and that was the big secret of his coaching success. Bill showed love and concern, but he was also firm and fair.
When he's on the court, Dennis registers emotion, and he plays with a great deal of emotion. And sometimes I think it's unwarranted and over-scrutinized, and I think his play is.
Rodman delivered one of the famous headbutts outside WWE, and he had to pay the consequences. A 6-game suspension that cost him over $200,000. It was the 3rd longest suspension of NBA history, behind Kermit Washington and Vernon Maxwell. Rod Thorne said, "The suspension and fine reflects not only the headbutting, but the totality of his actions on the court." Rodman was sorry, but he didn't know how to say he was, especially to the man, Michael. He called him at the hotel, asked MJ for a cigar, and apologized. Dennis got himself back on the line the rest of the season. Bulls got 72 wins. He played maybe the biggest role in the 1996 finals against Seattle. George Karl called Rodman the real MVP of the series. After NBA suspension, Rodman released a press statement with the headline, Chicago Bulls fans and my teammates, I want to apologize publicly for my actions. I was wrong in making contact with any NBA official, and I deserve to be punished for my actions. This was a joke. These were not Dennis's words. Some PR guy wrote for him. I realize that NBA referees are doing their jobs, and it's my job to respect them and respect the rules of the game to not put my teammates in jeopardy. In reality, he wanted to say, kiss my ass. For better or worse, Dennis is Dennis.